Welcome to the couch. I have something to talk about today. We all know what it's like to have a habit and fail miserably at it. But what if there was a way to never fail a habit again? Let's get into this. One of the main reasons that habits fail is because the person trying to implement it never really understands the three parts that make up a habit: the trigger, the action, and the reward. So I want to focus today on the trigger because it's one of the most important parts of the habit. If the trigger never happens, then you're never doing the other two steps. So what is a trigger? A trigger is simply something that gets you to start the habit. It's a trigger that happens regularly. It's something you can count on. A common trigger is setting an alarm or waking up and then immediately doing something. So when we're talking about triggers, there's very common habits that people are trying to implement. And let's see if we can find triggers for each one of those. One of the most common is exercise. Everybody wants to exercise more or make New Year's resolutions to run 5 miles every day or do 100 push-ups every morning. Sadly, many of those don't take place. So with the trigger for exercise, one of the best triggers is simply waking up. Exercise is a great thing to have in the morning to really get your morning jump started. So waking up, having that alarm go off, you waking up, jumping out of bed, and immediately doing the exercise, whatever it is. But some of you might be saying, well, I don't want to exercise in the morning. Maybe I want to do it in the afternoon or at night. Okay, well, the easy way to do it is set an alarm. So set an alarm, boom, you're done. But there might be a more natural way to do it. Maybe when you get off of work, boom, immediately go to the gym. Or maybe when you're done with dinner, you clean up and then boom, you go to the gym. Or you go to your room and do some jumping jacks, whatever it is you want to do. Or go for a run. Those natural triggers can be a lot more effective than something like an alarm, because an alarm is easy to snooze. And having that natural habit keeps that going. You're gonna eat dinner pretty much every day of your life, hopefully. So eating dinner, boom, you exercise. It's automatic. If you don't have your phone with you to set the alarm, if you don't have any kind of thing to trigger you other than the dinner, that makes it a lot easier, more natural, and you're not relying on something else. So a natural trigger is always better than having an artificial trigger. So sometimes, granted, you need an artificial trigger at first to get you going. Another common habit that lots of people want to implement is eating healthy. Say, I'm gonna eat healthy, I'm not gonna eat any fast food, and they're driving along, they see a Mickey D's and go, maybe just this once. So a habit that you can form, the trigger to this habit, okay, you don't wanna eat fast food. When you see a restaurant, you immediately look away. When you see a fast food restaurant, you immediately look away. Now, I know that might sound silly, but a lot of the psychology of fast food restaurants, they're designed so that when you look at them, you immediately start craving them. It activates those pleasure centers in your brain. It calls back previous memories of eating fast food, remembers how good it was, and then boom, brings you to eat it again. Because your body's telling you that it's good for you, because it doesn't realize that we're now at an age where we have way too much sugar and fat. Our bodies haven't quite caught up since the times where we needed all of that. So, looking away can actually be a real deterrent, especially on a psychological level, to not eating fast food anymore. Also, another important habit to implement that I feel that not many people try to implement is sleep. So having a regular sleep cycle. What that means is going to bed at a certain time, waking up at a certain time. And honestly, the best way to do this is to just set an alarm. It's just to set an alarm. And then until you get in the habit of that, until your body really gets used to that rhythm, there's not a whole lot of natural ways to set a trigger for this. Waking up, unless you are right next to a window and the light wakes you up, that's a natural trigger, I guess. But what if it's cloudy? What if it's raining? So an alarm is really the best way to set a sleep cycle as a habit. Another important habit that I feel not many people try to implement is positive thinking. Now, I know that sounds so cliche and so wishy-washy, but again and again, studies have proven, and I know in my own life, that the more positive you think, the better mental health you should have. In most people, of course, there are differences of people, person to person. So, positive thinking, what that means is that when a negative thought enters your mind, such as, oh wow, I can't believe that person did this, or I'm feeling so terrible, or this person's evil, or I'm so mad because of this person and politics, and to immediately have that be the trigger to realize it and to immediately turn and think of something you love. And eventually what this does is it puts in the habit of, as soon as negative thoughts come into you, boom, you turn them around. And you think, I'm so glad that I have these friends, I'm so glad I have this family, I'm so glad that I have a good job, or whatever is good in your life right now. I know that sounds cliche, I know that sounds wishy-washy, but it can actually be a really great help to you, especially if you're suffering from depression, or you're starting to experience that, or you're trying to get out of it. So that can actually be a really powerful thing and a habit that you can implement into your life, is turning negative thoughts into positive ones. Also, everyone loves being around a positive person, right? You don't really like being around negative people. So try to be that person that you would want to be around. That's always a good rule of thumb when you're questioning how you're acting and thinking. So this brings us to my personal habit that I've been trying to implement for the last 4 years. This is probably one of my greatest challenges I face, besides depression and all of that, biting my nails, picking at my nails. I've had this bad habit for 14 years now, and a 14-year habit isn't exactly going to just end like that. So I'm proud to say that I've been doing a lot better than I was in the past. And the trigger that I've set for myself is if my fingers touch each other or my fingers touch my mouth. That's the trigger, and immediately that turns into a, oh no, away, separate, get them away from each other, and that saves me from going into that bad habit. I know, again, this may sound a bit silly or a bit weird, but this is something that's really helped me, and that's something that's the reason why I'm doing so well now. So sometimes it's something just kind of weird, sometimes it's something, more normal, quote unquote normal, like it's setting an alarm, or something a bit more natural, such as eating dinner, waking up, having lunch, maybe ending school, ending work. Something a bit more natural. You can get into that natural rhythm of in and out, in and out, in and out, and then day by day by day, I can really form into a powerful habit. Don't be discouraged when you don't form a habit, when you fail. Don't be discouraged. There's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow to fight back, to try again. So I don't want you to choose enslavement to these bad habits. I want you to choose freedom to good ones. Thank you so much for watching. I truly value every single view, comment, like, subscribe that you give to me and everyone else in our community that we are building. I'm here to help you. Message me if you ever need anything. Be unashamed and stay unashamed. Take care.